as a gigantic dragon begins to crumble to bits and erupt. A blonde woman named Farrier rejoices with excitement, saying that the Dark Lord has been finally defeated. A strange man in front of her, named Sunraku, wearing only underpants on both his face and buttocks, looks at the dragon with a smile and awaits for a certain moment, waiting for the sun to shine above them. Once the skies clear up, the woman behind the man claims it was all thanks to the man Sunraku, who is the one who has defeated the Dark Lord. She also adds how much they have. Both thrived for this very moment and claims that it was a long and hard journey. Sunraku finally speaks up and tells her that this has been the best moment of his life, with both of them happy now that everything is over. Sunraku reveals not to be on her side at all and attacks her by surprise while she isn't noticing before finishing her off. Sunraku lets her know that he is sending her to her rightful place with the Dark Lord, and that place is hell. Thus Faria dies. It is revealed that this entire illogical thing was just a game and a loner shut, and Boy was playing it using VR gear. The boy takes off his VR and does the victory dance, as he has finally defeated his own simp energy and is now a Giga Chat. This is the Loader Boy story in an age where normal games are considered to be retro and fully immersive. VR games like the one earlier have become the norm. Beneath the small number of works of significance lies a massive pile of releases from trash games, although most people despise trash games as they are quote-unquote trash. Not our protagonist. He gleefully seeks these trash games out and plays them one by one as he finds these pieces of garbage to be rather amusing. The boy, whose real name is Rakiro Hizitom, is a high school student who never goes to school. And right after finishing the previous trash game, he eagerly waits to try the next one because of his hunt for trash games. The norms of this world call him a freak, and he proudly calls himself a trash game hunter. A new day arrives, and Rakiro actually decides to go to school for the first time. As he gets ready to leave, he notices a butterfly flying around and tells him to catch it quickly. Implying that his mom has a fascination for bugs, he heads out of his house and goes to his school, where he simply ignores everyone while going to his class. A suspicious girl named Rei reveals that she is spying on Rakiro and practices her lines on how to talk with him as she blushes thinking about even talking to him. It clearly indicates that she has a crush on him. Of course, Rakiro is oblivious to that and heads straight to his class without even noticing her existence after school. The scene shifts to a game shop where the manager attaches a poster to the wall regarding a possibly new VR game. The girl who has a crush on Rakiro, called Rei, comes to the game shop and reveals her true intentions, which are to see if Rakiro is here. The shop owner also reveals what Rei's intentions are, so she pities her and tells her that Rakiro hasn't come to the game shop today. As Rei begins to blush, an embarrassment, the shop owner pulls her leg even more and tells her that she is a lucky girl to be so young and in love and noticing how deeply invested Rei is in Mercuro. The shop owner lets her in unconfidential information, telling her that Rakiro is currently busy trying to crack an extra special trash game, and that is why he isn't getting the time to come here after school. Hearing that, Rei asks the shop owner about this extra special game and learns that he is currently playing for Eurochronicle Online. But we know that Rakiro is already done with this game, so he must be coming here soon anyway. Rei, of course, doesn't know that, so she wonders if she can beat a game like that. The shop owner gives her own opinion on this, saying that a woman won't be able to beat such an utterly absurd game with terrible fighting mechanics. So Rei forgets about playing this game and asks the shop owner about the game's premise instead of course, that too is trashy, but the shop owner mentions how the player must wear only shorts and face masks when they are about to fight the final bosses of the game. They both find it absurd, but they think that it's reasonable since it's a rashy game after all. While they are still talking about this, where Akiro comes inside the shop looking all tired and asks the shop owner if she has any decent trash games. Seeing him, the shop owner gets excited and tries to introduce him to Rei. But as she turns to where she was standing earlier, she finds she has already run away, so the owner forgets about it and changes the topic entirely, asking Mercuro if he has beaten the Feria Chronicles game, which he was trying to defeat earlier. Rakiro, in reply, happily tells her how much he enjoyed finishing this spectacular pile of garbage, and specifically mentions how the side character in that game called Faria ticked him off, and that is why he killed her before ending the game. He begins to blame everything on the side character, claiming that everything that goes wrong from point A of the game to point B is all because of her. In addition, he blames Faraya for being incompetent, as because of her, the situation gets worse, which causes the villagers and party members' eventual deaths. But whenever the blame tries to come to her, she somehow manages to turn everything on the person who had nothing to do with it and gets away with her crimes. And that is why Rakiro hates Fiera from blood to bones, and at the end of the game killed her with all his might. He keeps venting about how much he hates Fiera's entire existence, and that even annoys the shop owner. He also explains how he actually killed her and explains that when the boss dies, the game gives the players a 3-minute break to chill out, and he apparently used that moment as a loophole to kill Feria. Anyways, Rakiro himself moves on from it and asks the shop owner to find a trash can, which is even more garbage than Feria Chronicles. However, the owner claims not to know any, and so she tells him to try a game that is not trash. For once, she shows him the poster she had put up earlier and tells him to try this game, which is called Utopia. She thinks that every gamer should feel a change once in a while and again advises him to try a game that is not trash. She explains that Utopia, or in Japanese words, Shangri-La Frontier, is also a fully immersive VR game with over 30 million players. Nationwide, Rakiro finally decides to give it a shot and asks the owner more about the game. She explains that Utopia is actually a fun game that has been designed to appeal to a large audience. She even claims that it's a god-tier difficulty game. He goes back home inside his room, still wondering whether a trash game hunter like him should actually play a decent game. He sees the analytics of the game on the internet and learns that it was released last spring and also received a Guinness World Record. For having the most player logins with that itself doesn't impress Mercuro, so he decides to check the concept of the game. First, he looks it up on the internet again and finds out that it sets in a world where a colony fleet came from space and died out. But before that, they left a new society behind, and thousands of years later, the new colony is now living their lives at roughly medieval tech levels. The game has a setup that allows for effortless inclusion of sci-fi elements, unlike Failure, which is so bad that the haters find themselves desperately searching for redeeming features. In addition, the game is so loved by everyone that its own few haters are completely drowned out by its tens of thousands of fans. Hearing all of this, Kiro finally decides to have a go at it and plugs the game into his PC. Then, as he wears and turns on his headgear, he gets to see the introduction of the game's creation company, which was founded by the genius programmer Tsukuyo Tsukiri. Apparently, Sukryo is the mastermind behind this fully immersive VR game system and has become a leader in the field of game software development. Hearing that, Rakiro gets more assured that the game is going to be good and wonders if it is actually worth playing something that is not trash. His opinion slowly changes as he logs in and finds himself in a white void. A system menu appears asking Mercuro to fill in his details and giving him the chance to create his own characters. Rakiro picks his job first, and out of thousands of categories of possible jobs imaginable, he picks out the mercenary job, where the wielder has twin blades. Next, he chooses his origins and picks Wander, as he strictly believes in luck. Next, where Kiro begins to design his character and finds out that he can even choose what race and body type his character is going to have, as he gets the option to choose a different website. He gets blown away as even minor details like this do not exist in the trash games. So Rakiro goes hardcore on the character design and creates something so incredibly stupid, which makes him look like a literal Birdman. Rakiro explains that he greatly cares for the character's skin, as he always likes to avoid armor so that he can get the best weapons possible anyway. Rakiro sees that there is an option to sell a player's starter gear before even starting the game. So he of course does that and makes a huge profit. That will become relevant in the future. He then gives his player the name Sunraku once again and skips the prologue entirely as the actual game begins. Rakira finds himself in a very lively forest where he tests out the game mechanics first and acknowledges how great the world creation is. He opens the map to see where he is and decides to head to a random area instead of going to the usual starting town that is for the players. He walks in a random direction to head to the nearest city. When a goblin ambushes him, of course, he easily beats the goblin and levels up instantly. But then a rabbit ambushes him and shows to be much more ferocious than a measly goblin. Yet Rekiro shows to be even stronger and beats that ferocious strong rabbit, which gets him leveled up to rank 4. Because of that, he gets to learn a new skill, and that gives him a strong desire to try out different fighting style files. Speaking of trying out stuff where Kiro wonders whether he will find any bugs in this infamous game, but because there aren't supposedly any, he feels that he can put his skills to the maximum output he does. And begins to grind points so much that he levels up to level 12. After a short amount of time because of that, he gets more skills in his inventory and becomes more versatile with his attack. Now that it's getting dark, where Akiro thinks that's the perfect time to head to the next town to see what this game is truly about. That's it for this video. If you like this recap, kindly like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can bring you a recap of the next episodes of this exciting fantasy anime series. Until next time, stay safe and take care. Yo.